All right, smart consumer spending. Make sure you have your note taking guide ready, and we're going to get started with that very first infographic about the planned buying process. So, we're going to be talking about what is the proper way to go through a research, prioritization, and things like that in order to make good purchases. So, from the initial desire to buy the item all the way through to satisfaction after the purchase. So you want to prioritize your wants, conduct some research, evaluate your spending plan, and then finally make the purchase. So, the three principles involved in the planned buying process are that it is an essential consumer skill. This is something that you will definitely use and need in many, many of your decisions of purchases in your lifetime. It is an ongoing cycle, doesn't ever just end, and you will apply it each time a purchase is made. More on larger purchases than on smaller purchases, but on every purchase. So, first, let's talk about what's the difference between a durable and a consumable good. A durable good is something that does not wear out quickly. Typically, it's going to be a more expensive item, such as a cell phone or an automobile. A consumable good would be something that is consumed in the present, and these are typically less expensive items, such as food, fuel, or cosmetics. Investing in time in the planned buying process is going to result in greater purchasing satisfaction and is a positive financial management practice. So, looking for durable goods, you definitely want to invest a lot more time in the planned buying process. For consumable goods, you do use this process, but just not um, as thoroughly. Okay. So, why is it important to prioritize your wants? Why is that an important step? Remember that your future or your present self impacts your future self. So, if you are distinguishing between needs and wants, then hopefully it will result in prioritizing those spending decisions so that you're going to make good choices and you're going to be happy with those choices in the future. When you're prioritizing wants, here's some ways to do that. You can analyze the opportunity cost and trade offs of those items. What is it that you're giving up in order to purchase the thing that you're wanting to buy? What is the impact on your spending plan? Are you going to have to really be strapped for cash for a little while if you do purchase this item? Consider personal and social factors influencing your choice. Are you purchasing this item because all of your friends have it, someone on TikTok has it, or whatever? Or is it because it's something that you feel strongly about and you need? Not to say that one of those is wrong, but just you might want to make sure that you are buying it for the right reasons if it is going to cost you in like your budget and making you maybe have to save up for it for a long period of time or whatever. Conduct research. So we're on the second page now. Why is conducting research an important part? It does help you to be satisfied with the purchase. You're going to be able to identify the best option. You don't just go to the store and see one option and buy it. That's usually not how it works. You want to do a little bit of research just to find out what are your choices. What's the difference between these choices? What do I really need or want? And then, of course, it can be much more expensive than that, but you just want to make sure that you're going to be satisfied with the purchase in the long run. Some places where you can get information on research from product reviews. You can ask the seller questions. Looking at something called consumer reports, which are, if you go to, I think it's like consumerreports.org or whatever online, you can see what overall reviews there are for different items. And then you want to make sure that people who are selling the item have the appropriate licenses to sell that item. So, some things that you might ask. You might or at least ask yourself on product reviews, are they current? Are they fact-based? Or like overall, looking at all the product reviews overall, what is the consensus on whether this is a quality item or not, whether it's going to meet my needs or not? You might ask the seller questions about durability. Have they ever had problems with the item? Is anything broken or not functioning? Consumer Reports is a great place to find out some more specific details about the item. Does it have these features, for example? So, any of those can be um, appropriate questions to ask. You also want to think about your choices as far as when, where, what to purchase. So maybe you decided that you need a specific item, but you might also need to evaluate all of the below items. So used versus new. Could you save a lot of money on it, on getting it used? Yes. Will it still be the same quality? So that's something to think about. Same kind of thing with store brand versus name brand. Is it still going to be the same quality, or is it a good enough quality? And can I save enough money for it to be worth going with the store brand versus the name brand? Where to purchase it as well. Thinking of something as simple as buying a soda. If you purchase, you can purchase it at the grocery store in a 12 pack, or you can get one at the gas station. So obviously, the gas station is going to charge you more for one soda than you would get at the grocery store. So that's just a very simple example of as far as where to purchase, making a big difference. When to purchase as well. Certain things like patio furniture, barbecue grills, lawnmowers, those are going to be on sale or have better deals certain times of the year than others. So that might be a factor as well. Do it yourself if it's something like home decor or a piece of furniture, even that you can make yourself. You have the resources, the skills, the time, then that could help you to save a lot of money on that item. One thing that's not listed on the screen is the appropriate licenses. You do want to make sure that whoever is selling it has the appropriate licenses to sell it. You may be getting a good deal versus everybody else. It's like, why is this person so cheap? But it may be that they are not licensed and qualified, or that there's not the correct amount of warranties attached to it, and you may end up losing money or coming out with an inferior item or product or service. So you want to be very careful in that instance. Considering product features. So specifically when talking about an automobile, we have several things that you can look at that could be a factor for you. Safety ratings, those are going to vary widely depending on the make and model of the vehicle. You want to make sure that you're getting the most safety features for the amount of money that you can spend on that vehicle. The expected durability. You might be willing to pay more money for something if you know that it's going to last you a long time and be durable in the meantime. Maintenance required. There are certain makes and models that might require more maintenance, or just understanding that maintenance is going to be a part of life, and factoring in that cost might help you to choose one vehicle over another. And then hidden costs. Sometimes products are going to have hidden costs. For a vehicle, it would be fuel or electricity. So that's something that you want to think about as well when you're talking about the fuel gas mileage. That's the word I was looking for. Warranties. Some products are going to offer an extended warranty. You don't have to purchase the warranty, but you need to understand if this thing breaks and I'm out this much money to purchase a new one, is that going to be a big deal to me or not? But just make sure that the warranty is worth it and that you are more likely to use it. Otherwise, it's just wasted money. And the environmental impact could be something that is important to you or important to your community, and you want to factor that in as well. Usually, there's going to be some alternatives that you can look into. Okay, product price. So here is just a simple example of how to look at different features and rank them to help you to make a decision. So here's a little grid here that if you're talking about, for example, a cell phone, and you want to say, okay, the most important thing to me is this, and then I care about this, and then I care about that. Look at three options, factor in the price, do a little research, figure out the price, and then just put a check mark on, does option one have these three features? Does option two have them? Does option three have them? And then just visualizing that on in a spreadsheet like this might help you to make a decision of one over another one. Prices are going to vary across sellers. Different versions of the same product might be available in different places. So, looking at the product features are going to help you to find um, the object that has the most desirable features at the lowest cost. That's the idea. Before making the purchase, you definitely want to evaluate your spending plan. How are you going to pay for this item? Do you have cash? Are you going to need to use a credit card? And if you are, what do you need to think about? You definitely want to make sure that you're getting the best terms. Remember, like the interest rate, how long you're going to make those payments, how much per month that's going to end up being to you. And remember that the long term implications of paying that credit back could devastate you. So make sure that you're careful in that case. Will this become a contractual expense? A contractual expense is something where you have a contract and you are now paying a monthly fee for this item. So, like your cell phone, you could consider it like a loan of some sort, or Netflix subscription, or anything like that. Um, you want to make sure that you are able to afford that item, that expense now, but you're also able to afford it as long as you need to pay for that item. And what is the trade off to this purchase? What am I now not able to spend that money on? And the cost of ownership. Now we're talking about not just the cost of the item, but what additional things am I going to have to spend now? So I buy this new cell phone, but now I also have to have a cell phone plan, or now I have to up my data, and I also have to buy cases and screen protectors and chargers and all these other things. So consider the whole cost of ownership and make sure that you are not making yourself unable to afford your needs. Cost per use can be a really helpful tool to decide whether something is a good deal or not, or whether to decide to buy one thing versus another. So, looking at these two examples here, you've got a $100 prom dress versus a $100 pair of jeans. So, the $100 prom dress you are going to plan to wear one time, and that makes it a cost per use of $100. The $100 pair of jeans, on the other hand, is worn once a week for a year. So that gives it a cost per use of $1.92 every time you wear it. So if you're going to spend that kind of money on something, it would be more worthwhile to spend it on something that you're going to get a lot of use out of. And that's just an easy way to compare two things. Uh, Looking at something like a gym membership, if you $65 is high for around here, but if you were going to visit the gym 15 times per month, that means that every time you go, you're spending $4.33. So that would be an easy way to figure out, is this membership, subscription, whatever it is, worthwhile for me? Am I going to use it enough to make it more cost effective than just paying per use? So sometimes you can go to the gym and you can pay $5 every single time you go, or $6, or whatever it is around here. And that could be a better deal for you if you don't go to the gym enough to make the monthly charge pay off. When you're making a purchase, you want to be confident with the staff that is helping you. So, if that's sales personnel, you want to be comfortable with the person, but prepare yourself ahead of time to negotiate. Research what the typical costs are, so that you're aware and you don't just go with whatever they say the thing costs and you just blindly buy it. Usually there's some amount of negotiation that can happen, especially if you're talking about a large purchase like a vehicle or furniture, things like that. If you're purchasing directly from a seller, make sure they are a reputable seller. You can check in with the Better Business Bureau to find out more about them. And make sure that you're aware of any refund, return, or cancellation policies in case something doesn't go right. Online purchases, you want to make sure that you're only using secure sites. You never want to enter your credit card information or personal information on a site that doesn't have the HTTPS and the little lock at the beginning of the web address. Using a credit card versus a debit card is a safer option, and you want to definitely review any shipping policies and return policies in case you don't get what you were expecting to get. Definitely save documentation like receipts and payment receipts and whatever else that they will email you in case you have a problem. If you do have a problem or you're not satisfied with your purchase in any way, you can do something called redress, which is just the process of righting a wrong. So you want to evaluate the return policy, see if there's that would be your first chance to try to right the wrong. If that doesn't work, or if you cannot return the item, see if there are any laws that are going to protect you for that specific item, specifically bigger ticket items that would apply to. All right, that's all for today. Thank you.